I'm recording this car video and the sun is rising and it's going through a tree right now. So the lighting for this car video is incredibly ambient. But yeah, I thought I would answer a question that someone had wrote in the other day. First off, I just want to say, I know we've been talking a lot about SP stuff recently, and we're going to be talking about it again today. I just want to reassure people who are not into this whole SP topic that this is not becoming an SP channel. It's just we're focusing on SP topics the last few videos, in part because of the upcoming course I'm going to offer. It is going to happen. I've confirmed it's going to happen. We're going to start October 17th. Which is a Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. If you want to join, you can email me up with the information below. And you should watch the last video. I'll put the link above to that. So yeah, we've been exploring SP stuff. But, obviously when it comes to manifesting a person in your life, a specific person, as they say, or a romantic relationship, obviously that process, which is a hugely popular topic in the social media world, obviously there's a lot of similarities there with manifesting other important things in your life, whether it's like, better relationships, particularly in general, like with family or with coworkers, really any social relationships. There's a ton of crossover with SP type stuff, but there also is for other things like health issues or financial issues, job issues, whatever. Like all this stuff is related. And the way that, we explore this SP topic is one of depth. So, even if you're not trying to manifest a romantic partner, you're still going to probably get something from a lot of the content that we're discussing in these videos regarding SP work. Because as I always like to say, the real SP, if we want to get real about it, the real specific person you're trying to manifest is yourself. You're trying to bring out the best qualities that you want in yourself and actualize them more in your day-to-day life. And, do it in a very gentle, pragmatic manner that's non-judgmental. Because there's many practical reasons for that, but if you want to get, deeper spiritually, we can do this. We can be non-judgmental as we try to, work with what we value most in our life and actualize it more in our life, bring it out more in our life. We can be gentle about this because in God's eyes, everything already is perfect. Creation is already finished, right? If we want to use that phrase, you already are perfect. However, you don't see yourself as perfect, and you want to become more cognizant, recognize more fully and consciously that you already are perfect. That's SP work if we want to get deeper about it. And that's some of the stuff we're going to be covering in the course. But then there's this pragmatic angle, which, interests me. Just it's like, how do you do that on the ground? And if you are trying to manifest like a romantic partner, like how do you do that? And there's so much, frankly, just garbage advice in the SP community about how to do that. It really convolutes something that should be rather obvious. So I got a question the other day I want to read because it kind of underscores this. It's a good question. It's very relevant because this is the kind of stuff that is not explained well a lot of the time in the SP community. And I think the solution to that is just using more common sense and forgetting about the manifesting angle and just trying to treat yourself better and treat other people better. So here was the question. Hi, Tim. I've been following your YouTube for a while and I've listened to many of your SP videos. I've been meaning to ask you this because I'm curious and you've never quite confirmed this in the way I'm looking for, though you've made it clear you don't think people should manifest SPs. Do you think that whether someone's SP is an ex, a friend, a coworker, someone you went out on a couple dates with, or a total stranger you've seen around but haven't met, that you should never actually try to manifest a loving relationship with him, her, if that person hasn't come to you and offered? That you should always try to move on to someone new, both in actions and mentally manifestation-wise? Put another way, Are you saying that all romantic love manifestation work should be done to attract a stranger you haven't already met? If so, could you make a video explaining why? Here's the video, right? This video here, I'll answer the question. And thank you for writing in that excellent question. Here's the thing, folks. We are overcomplicating stuff when we're thinking about manifesting a partner. Are you saying that a romantic love manifestation work should be done to attract a stranger you haven't already met? Absolutely not. No, 100 times over. 100 times over, no. That's the short answer. People in the manifesting community often make it seem like this SP stuff is something esoteric. You just want to get in a relationship with somebody. That's what this is about. You do normal stuff to get in a relationship with someone. That's how you get in a relationship. It's like, Matt Fury, I've referenced this video before. I'll try to find it and link to it, but you can find it otherwise. Matt Fury, who's the president of the Psycho-Cybernetics Foundation, excellent law of attraction type teacher. He gives this great example. He goes, if you want a sandwich, you think I want a sandwich. And then you get up and you go to the refrigerator and you get the condiments for the sandwich, you get the bread, and you make the sandwich and you eat it. That's a fucking manifestation. And that's how SP work should be too, in my opinion, practically speaking. You can date or meet anybody. It can be, of course, it can be somebody you were formerly in a relationship with, an ex, or it can be a friend that you want to become romantic with, or a coworker, or someone you went out on a couple dates with, or a total stranger you've never seen before. Any of those are options. Of course. This is not magical, folks. You put yourself out there and you meet somebody. The problem is most people don't put themselves out there. That is the short answer to why people have so many problems meeting people romantically, is they don't put themselves out there. And the reason for that is most people don't know that they can put themselves out there. So they project this image of what they think they should do, and they aren't their authentic self. They aren't actualizing the specific person that they want to be. And that, that loving person that wants to be in a relationship, they don't put themselves out there in that way. And so they don't attract a partner who wants that too. If you put yourself out there, and again, we'll go over more specifics about how to do this in the course, but if you put yourself out there that, like, I'm a good person, I'm an open, genuine person, I'm looking to be in a relationship with an open, genuine person that I'm attracted to. If you put that self out there, and this is like an energetic thing, this is a decision you make. If you put yourself out there in that way, people who are looking to be in a relationship with a good person are going to be attracted to you. Now, this might seem like esoteric nonsense, but I can reassure you it is not. I don't know how long I want to go into it because this is a long story, but like to give you like a little bit of an overview here, a little bit of context, okay, of like where I come from with this stuff. When I was in my early to mid 20s, I was in a very good relationship, which ended abruptly with a woman. And it left me heartbroken, and it fucked me up basically. And I knew nothing about this manifesting stuff, thank God, at that time. And, for a couple years after that relationship ended, there was a lot of emotional processing that I had to do, dealing with like the end of that relationship and just how, everything just suddenly went out. The lights went out, right? Shocked me. And, I was looking at all these different ways of treating that, of dealing with myself energetically at that point, like about how I felt about it, and also like, well, how do I like meet a woman and like, how do I successfully meet a partner? How do I manifest an SP? Of course, I wasn't using that term, that dumb term, in my opinion. Um, but like, I was like, how do I meet women? How do I go on dates? I don't know how to do that. Because like the relationships I had been in were like, it was all very like informal and whatever. But now I was in my mid-20s and, out of school and stuff. And like, I didn't know how to do it. And I remember like, um, going on this like kind of this date with this woman, and it was like unclear, and like I wasn't expressing myself what I wanted. This is probably I was probably 25, 26 years old. And we like hung out for a bit, and then we, at the end it was like I don't know, like I leaned in to kiss her or something like that, and she's like, "Oh, no, 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 this is not what I want." And like but it was kind of what she wanted, I could tell. But there was like this lack of communication. And whatever, I got out of there, I left, and I was thinking about it later that night or the next day, and I'm like, man, I never want to be in that situation again, where there's that lack of communication of like what I want, what the other person wants when it comes to a relationship. Like, that's total bullshit. I was like, that's just not me. I'm a very open person, communicatively. I communicate with people. That's what I do. I was like, why can't I just date a woman? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's fine to, meet a partner via friends or something like that, and have it kind of set up for you on a platter. But like, why can't I just meet a woman if I'm meeting someone I don't know well, that there's not mutual friends involved? Why can't I just communicate more openly, like what I want, and suss out like what they want? Because if they don't want to be in a relationship, that's totally fine. But like, why can't I understand that more? And so I went down this rabbit hole, which was very easy to do because, I was single. I had time on my hands. I was in real estate. So I was talking to people anyway, all the time. I went down this rabbit hole, basically like this dating rabbit hole, this, the whole like, how do you meet women thing, and like, I saw the real skeezy side of that. Like the pickup artist angle, and all those guys who are like extremely douchey. And then I saw the more like, prim and proper side, which seemed to be like very, I don't know, way too just like conformist and dumb, like people with a stick up their ass, people who want to like speed date and like talk about, this is what I offer to you, and I was like, both these sides, there were things you could take from them. But like there was too much bullshit. So I was trying to find stuff, and I did find stuff gradually over the course of like a year or two that was helpful in terms of communicating more fully what I wanted in terms of relationship, in terms of like what I wanted in terms of talking to people, And like I said, I was in real estate at the time. I was talking to a lot of people. So I had the ability to speak with people all the time. And I began to notice, when I got more into the psychology of communication, like how people communicate with each other. Not just, again, this is not just romantically, but in terms of like building trust, in terms of like communicating, genuinely what you want, I was learning how to do that more effectively. And I was also seeing, because I was in real estate, how many shysters and dumb salesman-y type, conversations people had. How people would try to sell you something basically that you didn't want, right? And I was like, this is really interesting, because in real estate that shit happens all the time, and it's fucking bullshit. I was like, this is really interesting, because relationships are just like this. People go on dates, like I said, like if you go like this traditional dating advice, and like they're trying to sell you this image of who they think they want you to be. It's like, oh, I do this, and this is going to impress the woman, or this is going to impress the man. I was like, this is all fucking bullshit. And then you get these, like the other side, like I said, like these pickup people who are like, just trying to force their way in there and, play games to attract the woman. I was like, this is ridiculous. But the underlying good advice from both those sides, the really like skeezy, like, how to meet women's side, and the very overly formal, like you go on a date and explain what you want side, is the people who were effective in terms of, meeting a partner that way communicated what they actually wanted with their heart. They were not full of shit at all. That is something I learned more and more how to implement in my life. Talking to people, like when I went out with friends, or like, I started going to bars, and like, I'd be with friends, or I'd have a drink after work or whatever, and then I would just start talking to people. And I learned how to talk to, I was always good at speaking to people, pretty openly, but I learned how to speak with women openly that I didn't even know. And that's a trait that virtually nobody has if they want to then make that romantic. And that goes for women with men. It doesn't matter what your gender is. Being able to speak openly with people in a setting where you're not loaded, you're not drunk, and you're able to do that. And because I was in real estate, it also really helped me in terms of being able to communicate more clearly, like what I was trying to when I was trying to show people apartments, that I was not bullshitting them, and I was just trying to show them the best apartments, and I was listening to what their needs were. So I always was a pretty good communicator. I just had no idea how to communicate what I valued most when it came to important things in my life, like finding a romantic partner. And gradually in my mid-20s, I figured out how to do that, how to communicate that more effectively. And this is all in retrospect, I'm telling you this. Like, I didn't understand this at the time as clearly as I do now. But, and I did a ton of stupid shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would be bored. I'd go out drinking with friends, and I'd be like, oh, I'm going to go speak to those girls. And they're like, you're crazy. Like, you're, that's nutty. Like, you're not drunk. They're not drunk. You're just going to do that. And I was like, I could be borderline rude initially when I started doing this. And I regret a lot of the stuff I did. I never did anything terrible, but like, I just was rude. I was too gung-ho to talk to people, who were out at a bar or something like that. Dumb. But I also gradually learned how to communicate more authentically in any situation with people in social settings like that, or at a party. Being able to cut right to the chase, including with someone I potentially wanted to date. So this video, I guess, is going to be about how I manifested my SP, huh? How I met my wife was I was in a bar, and I was meeting some friends. I was there alone before my friends got there. And I was just having a drink, and then I saw this, this girl, these two girls, and they were having a drink, and I just walked up to them. I said, what are you talking about? Because I was bored being in there alone, and I could see that they were, they weren't trying to be private. They were just drinking and, talking. Clearly they were just having fun. So I started talking to them. And some of my friends came later. But yeah, I ended up speaking to this girl and her friend, a lot of the night. And then, that girl became my wife. I manifested my SP from just being open and doing the next right thing in a bar situation. At that time, I was not looking to be in I wasn't looking for a wife. I was having fun finally figuring out how to speak to people, being, going on dates and whatever, being in my mid-20s and being more carefree than I had been. Sure, I wanted to be in a good relationship with someone, but I wasn't thinking about that at that time. My wife, likewise, was not like, oh, this is the guy. She did not want to be in a relationship. And I, like I said, was very ambivalent about being in a relationship too. But there we were. Started hanging out. And even though we didn't want to be in a relationship, we had a lot in common. And so, it happened. But that's a whole other story. And that's not about manifesting your SP. That's the real work, is what happens afterwards. Because you manifest your SP, you meet the person, then you got to do the work to make that relationship keep on going. But to meet a person, you got to just be open about who you are. And very few people do that. Very few people do that. They say, all right, well, maybe I can do this if I get drunk enough, or maybe I can do this if I get into like a online dating setting where everyone's looking, da-da-da-da-da. But can you be authentic enough to be like, oh, to say something about someone and then basically convey it like, oh yeah, that interests me, you interest me, I like you. Not necessarily through words, but through your actions, through your behavior. And like also to be able to convey like, I like you, would you like to maybe hang out with me or talk more? And be okay if they say no. That's communication, folks. All this SP stuff, magical fucking whatever, manifest, through affirmations and da-da-da-da-da. How about you just convey that you like a person and are interested in them? And that you're a good person. And that you're interested in them. Do you know how attractive a quality that is? Do you know how few people do that, relatively speaking? Compared to everybody else who's trying to do all these dating tricks and present this false persona. Be your authentic self and you become an attractive person that people are attracted to. And if you want to be in a romantic relationship, if you want to manifest an SP, that's how to best do it, in my opinion. But you can meet somebody any way you want. It can be someone you formerly went out with. And you just got to convey to them that you still want to be with them. And you got to convey that authentically. Or it can be a friend that you want to turn into a romantic partner. Or it can be whoever. People you know, people you don't know, whatever. Anybody. Use common sense. But most importantly, convey your authentic self. If you do that, chances are you're going to meet someone sooner than later. And that person you initially meet might not be the person that you think it might not end up being the one, but then you meet someone else. You figure out your own stuff, what you really want, you figure out how to bring out that love in yourself, to yourself, and then you love others too because of that. So I hope that was somewhat clear. I think that there's a lack of love in this world. And that's not just love to each other, but self-love. And a lot of this work is realizing that love that you always have for yourself and in turn for others. It's there. And we just have to actualize it more. So if you want to join this SP self-concept course, information is below. If you'd like coaching from me, I can be reached at radicalcounselor.com. Until next time.